Good evening, ambassadors. My name is Ambassador V,
And my name is Ambassador Zoe,
and
and
welcome
welcome
back.
back to Kingdom Youth.
The theme of this month is Kingdom Youth Takeover.
In it, but not of it.
So sit back
Relax
and
and enjoy.
Good evening, Kingdom Youth, and welcome back to another youth session. I'm Ambassador V, and today I'm with.
Ambassador CQ.
And I'm Ambassador Lindiwe.
And today we'll be talking about the youth role in changing the country slash society. So, my first question will be why do you think it is so important for the youth to be the ones who change our country and not our elders who have experienced it or who have been alive longer than us? What do you think?
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. Um, I think youth should be the one that are learning from the elders and also become in the forefront and in understanding the nation that we are in, South Africa, and also impacting it. Because number one, I'm thinking that old people, yes, they know they have history, which they can just transfer to the youth, and then the youth can be the forefront. But old people, they are number one, they are not the future, to be honest, because they are not going to live long. So we believe that we want young people to be the one that are in the forefront because they can impact the future. Because the old people future is this one. They wanted to see what they are seeing or they are in regret. But us, we are the ones that should actually work for the next generation, trying to change things. So this is what I can just say for now. Thank you.
I think you made some good points, Ambassador CQ. I think it's important for the youth to be the one that's actively involved in changing the world because, like you said, it's not the old people's future, it's now our future. So it's up to us to shape how we want our society to look like because we're going to live in it longer than they have. They shaped the society that they wanted to see. Whether it's been fulfilled or not, we are left with the remains of the ideas that they had long ago. And I think it's very important because we have to break generational curses. We have to unlearn certain things that older people have implemented in the society that don't necessarily work for the youth of today. So I think that's why it's important for us to be actively involved in changing the society that we live in.
Okay.
So in all this, what Ambassador Lindy has just mentioned, you will notice that as you see from the past, looking at the past 1997 when we had 19 I'm so sorry
1976.
1976, yes. If you look at 1976 youth, they were the ones that, especially in Soweto, when you read that history, you realize that the young people were the ones that were fighting in the struggle. And actually, if you read all the past, you'll realize that young people have been the one who were revolutionists, who were always in the forefront trying to fight for change. Because young people, I can tell you this, young people that are in touch with the past and yet have hope for the future, those people are dangerous.
Yeah, you guys make very great points. I think we it's very important for us to actually play this role in order for us to actually see because we are the future, so we need to actually put in the work so that we have the future that we desire. As he said, the people from 1976, they fought for what we have now, so let's also fight for what we want to see then for the generations to come.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. But I really want us to now think about it in this way. Is the youth that we have, I understand, I want us now to think about this. Is the youth that we have, even you at home, is the youth that we have now uh, conscious about what is happening in our nation and also conscious enough to understand the shift of the struggle from fighting against apartheid government to a different fight that we are fighting now? Is the youth that we have even understand that? So I just want to start with Lee. What do you think about that?
I think no. To just put it just short, no. But
Yes.
for me to answer it deeper, I think in terms of the youth, there's different parts of the youth.
Yes.
There's your youth, and then there's me and V's youth, and then there's the younger youth.
Yes.
I think starting from me and V's youth, they're not
I
conscious
don't
of
know.
that. Yeah, they don't they don't feel like it's important to fight for those things. They don't feel like it's their job to do so. I think they're so relaxed and comfortable with the world just turning out. They think it's the older people's job to deal with it.
I was about to say that
Yeah.
I think we've relied so much on the older generation to actually make the decisions for us. But I think we're at that point now to actually start making those decisions for ourselves.
Yes.
So I think we need to be actually very conscious about it, you
Yes.
know.
Yes. You see, as you are mentioning it like that, this means us or the young people now. What is it that literally made them not to participate, not to be interested in these issues of national building and then national development? What is the thing that made young people not to be involved?
As I said, I think just having so much dependence on the older generation. But I think also as young people, I can speak for myself. We've never actually wanted to actually get to know about the politics of our country. Yeah, I think that's what I can say. I think we're just not interested, and I think also we haven't learned enough about it. I think if it can also be incorporated in our education system, I think it could also help, you know, because as a person, for me, if it was not for school, I don't think I would want to know about it or know about it, you know. So I think sometimes just getting that education about it, it can also help just so that you know what's going on. Because there's a lot of people in the youth who don't know anything about politics or anything about what is going on in the country, you know. Yeah.
I think just to add on what you said, the reason why we're not even interested in politics and all those things is because we're not living the real life struggle that the youth in 1976 were living. So we're given everything in a silver platter. I'm not saying everyone has the same privilege, but in terms of there not being as much struggle as there was back then, we're so comfortable. We're just like, what are we fighting for? There's
We
nothing
have
real
the
that we're
soft
fighting
life.
for. Exactly, we're living a soft life. Not realizing that the stuff that are happening right now, different things that are happening around us, that's our struggle. The 1976 struggle was the apartheid era, was the Bantu education. Ours is now the consequences of the actions that adults took that are now affecting us. But because we don't see it as struggle, we're just like, you know what, it's whatever. They now, it doesn't concern them.
Speaking of the consequences, I just want to ask what are some of the challenges that you think will catch up with the youth in the future if we don't start to make plans to address those problems now?
Okay, I wanted Lee to start on this one, but let me just dive in. Um, Even when you read the book that is the famous book in the world, the Bible, you will realize that if the people of the time or the people that are living in that era, whether old or young, once they don't get involved in addressing issues, especially when it comes to governance, that issue will always be in the next generation. There will be always a generational problem, not family, generational problem or national problem that in this nation we know the issue of electricity, load shedding, unfairness, injustice is going to keep on happening until young people address the situation. There's a nation that I'm not going to mention in Africa. That nation got young people that stood up about electricity, by the way, energy. That, hey, listen, we are tired. We want free electricity. because we have a right for that. They fought for that, and even now, that nation has a free electricity running. If that nation is in Africa, which means we as
can
South
do
Africa
it.
can get it.
Yeah.
But we just need more of young people getting involved and working it out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you're so right. Also, when it comes to matters such as climate change, I think a lot of, I'm going to say Africans and South Africans, we don't really understand the depth and how dangerous climate change is. It's already happening. Seasons are changing right in front of us and we don't even know. There's no transition from autumn to winter, from winter to, there's nothing like that. You're just straight
just
into
say,
winter. And I think as much as we can think, oh, it's just climate change. I mean, come on. But we don't understand how much it's affecting us in a tremendous way until, like I said, until it's right in front of us and we're like, oh, okay. Well, there's something here that we need to deal with, when we could have combated that by starting to get actively involved in climate change, such as littering. I see so many people, even when I'm in the taxi going to work, like it's so easy for them at town to just drop things out of the window.
Yeah.
And it's older people and it's also the youth
Yeah.
like us, because we just think it's not important to worry about things like climate change.
So what do you guys think the solutions can be? For example, with littering, I think a solution could also be implementing recycling. I think a lot of people, I don't want to say, they don't understand the importance of recycling, because if we don't recycle, guys, this is the environment that we're gonna live in. You get what I mean? So I think just also understanding the importance of recycling. So I just want to ask you, how do you think that the youth can come out and have innovative ideas to help with the electricity, problems that we have?
Okay.
I think the youth is so exposed to so many things on social media, and they're exposed to so many wrong stuff on social media. If certain things can be implemented, that platforms such as TikTok, YouTube, and stuff have important information like what is recycling, how can you recycle, what materials can you recycle, where can you recycle these materials. I think it's also detrimental for us to implement in certain places, like in rural places. There should be a central place where people can throw away their rubbish and it gets recycled. Also, I think on Tuesdays and whatever day of the week, the dustbin people come and take the dustbin. I think in South African homes, we should make it a point that we kind of separate all those things to make it easier for them. Because at the end of the day, they're doing what we can't do.
Yeah.
They're doing what we are failing to do. So I think using social media as platforms to raise awareness of stuff like that, about how like dangerous it is,
Yeah.
that the after effects of all these things
Yeah.
are closer than we think.
Yeah.
You know, I realized there is one thing that I had a chance to share about this littering with someone, and this person say, I made a lot of money through recycling. So I feel like if young people can know that actually this is a business on its own.
Yes.
But the problem is, we as young people, we want things, we want fast money. We don't want to put work
Into
on
it.
something.
Yeah.
While you are helping our nation to be clean, at the same time you are making time for your business to grow. We understand. But most thing that is important is the consciousness. When I'm talking about consciousness, is to be conscious about the importance of our country. I feel like we as young people, we don't love our nation. We are not proud of our nation.
Yes.
You see, if you are proud of your nation, you will respect everything that your nation has.
Yeah.
For instance, environmental issues. You're not going to be ignorant about those things, because you know that littering will cause all these global warming and issues that we're going to have. You're going to obviously use things that are possible to save us from all this ozone layer puncturing and all that, so that we as the nation, we are safe also as an African countries, because already we are living in a very warm environment, and more of that can destroy generations to come
Yeah.
if we are not taking care of it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, and then my next question is, as a young person, what would the ideal South Africa be for you? What is it that you would like to see in the next 10, 20 years?
For me, as a young person, I want to see a youth that's more active,
Okay.
a youth that is not lazy, a youth
Yes.
that takes initiative to research for themselves.
Mm,
For instance, I'm on a youth of voting, for example.
mm,
There's so many youth that are not going to register to vote because they couldn't care less, to be honest.
See,
Politics is not my thing. I'm not into politics.
mm,
Politics is into you. You are living in the aftermath of
of
yeah.
politics.
politics, yes.
So in the next 10 to 20 years, I think seeing a youth that's more involved, a youth that's more passionate about the future that's to come, because it's no longer our
Our
future, it's
future,
our kids'
yes.
future.
Yes.
So the youth that you want to see is the youth that you want to see your kids growing up in, the
Yes.
future that you want to see them growing up in. That's the kind of future that I want to see in the next 10 to 20 years.
Would you like to go?
Yes.
Okay.
I want to see young people who both those that grew up in families that are advantageous financially and those that are coming from a disadvantageous families growing in an equal mental state.
Okay.
I don't want to see any inequality because number one, you can talk about race inequality, but there's still inequality even among one race. It's so amazing. You can even see it. I want to see and live in a nation where young people and also old people, there is no difference. I'm talking about the equality in information and knowledge. Not that, that is why I am striving towards the education part, where I want to see the private schooling and the public schooling get the same knowledge that is applicable to business, knowledge about health and everything.
So basically, you want to see a better education system.
Perfect.
I think for me, yes, I do agree having a better education system, but I think also addressing the situation of unemployment. I think um, there should actually be more initiatives to actually having I don't know, more entrepreneur, having young entrepreneurs, you know. I think, yeah, that's what I would like to actually see, having young entrepreneurs in South Africa, actually building businesses that can actually bring generational wealth to their family, you know. I think also just having less crime, less corruption, you know, being actually led by kingdom citizens, also living in a nation with kingdom citizens. You know, I think that's what I would like to see in the next coming generations. So, yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. Because I mean, all that, all that, you see, if you get to sit in the table, hence we are talking about young people having a role in actually in a national development. We will really like young people to sit and decide curriculum wise. You understand? Curriculum wise, okay, we want our curriculum to move from formal desk sitting down to the practicality, which is going to make people have experience before you even go to work. You already have experience of what you are called for.
Yes.
Literally. Even
Yes.
now, we end up having skill development centers for those kids that fail at school because they are not called to be even sitting and learning about science.
Yes.
But these people, they need something in hand
Yes.
to know how to weld, how to deal with steel, how to deal with electricity.
Yeah.
They need practicality than sitting down in a desk and learn about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, I totally agree. So just to move on to the last question, then you guys can give your closing remarks. Any ideas on how the youth can contribute in shaping the future of our country? In other words, what are the possible things that you think the youth can do in order to build a better South Africa?
I think the things that the youth can do are things like this:
Yes.
having more sit downs with youth
Yes.
from different places, different backgrounds.
Yes.
Because when we are all on one accord, we can all translate the same message to
Yes.
whoever we need to translate it
Yes.
to. like you were saying, Ambassador CQ, that youth needs to be in parliament. There needs to be a youth representative who has the ideas and the mindset that the youth in
Yes.
South Africa wants to
Yes.
be in parliament. That's a practical thing.
Yes.
Having more of these sessions, it broadens one's mindset because all of us are here to learn and we're here to teach as
Yes.
well. So I think having more sessions like this in church, out there, wherever,
Yes.
to have the same mindset so we're all on par of how we want the youth of South Africa to look
Yes.
is important.
Yeah, I definitely think that it is a good idea to actually start having the young people taking part in politics, because again, this is our future, so we need to take charge, you know. Yeah.
Um, you know, I used to sit with young people most of the time, and you can ask one question: who is the deputy president of South Africa? They won't know. They won't know at
Yeah.
all. And I'll laugh. I'm not laughing. I will just laugh at them. At that time, they know I'm always laughing. And then after that, I'll say, this is really saddening, because it shows that the way we are not interested about this thing, it's so amazing. You ask yourself, it may happen that someone from Norway in another country can come and become a leader in this nation. And
Yes.
us as young people, we won't even know,
Yeah.
because we don't care. Number one, those that are in churches, they don't care. They don't care. And we learned, our senior ambassador did taught that actually leadership in government, it's what we are called for actually.
Yes.
Until you let it sink in your spirit, even when you pray, that's when you will realize that actually this is what we are here for. We are here
Yeah.
for to take over, and we can't take over without getting to that level.
And you know, when you actually say that, it actually reminds me of how my dad will always be like to my sister and I, well, mostly my sister, how he sees her as president. You know, so I think we really just need to have those young people in politics and actually see what change they can bring, because yeah, I don't want to say anymore. Yeah, but I just think that I would actually like to see the change that young people can actually bring to South Africa, and see if we can get that better South Africa that we want for the next generation to come. So, any closing remarks?
My closing remarks would be, again, I am striving for a youth that's not lazy. And I'm also speaking to myself and I'm speaking to all of us, is that researching more. We've got access to so much social media, so much. We've got access to Google, internet. It doesn't hurt to just spend a couple of minutes researching about certain things. It doesn't hurt to just equip yourself with more knowledge about certain things, because if you can watch a Netflix series from start to finish, I'm sure you can take out 20 minutes of your time just to research.
Yes,
And also, it's
yes.
not to condemn, it's just to equip ourselves with more information so that when we're on platforms like this, we know what we're talking about. We're not just saying things for the sake of saying things, because
Yes.
at the end of the day, we are speaking to people out there, and the information that we put out there needs
Yes.
to be backed up and needs to be
Yes.
knowledgeable.
Yes.
So I think just research and equipping yourself with more knowledge.
I think we need to actually have a youth that is actually willing or wants to actually close the gaps. For example, taking care of our environments. You know, God gave us rivers, guys, but our rivers don't look clean. You know, we're abusing these things. So let's close the gaps and find ways to actually like take care of our environments and actually be what is the word? Genuine, or have that intention to actually want to do it. So I think my closing remarks were just, let's close the gaps and fill where we can, you know, whether it be by taking care of environments or coming up with innovative ideas for technology, you know, to better probably the electricities in South Africa, or even in the nation as a whole, you know. So yeah. Ambassador CQ.
Innovation. Um, that's what I took from your closing remarks. Now, I want to talk to our young people. What I can say is that you don't have excuse. Whether you grew up, your parents were not good, you grew up in a very not good environment, there is no excuse for nothing. For the fact that we are still alive, we can still make change for our lives, being clean, the way we live our life, being intentional, because it starts personal. You start living a life that is full of purpose, be a person who's intentional, change things in your life. And then it's going to be easy when you go out there to speak for people. There is nothing that can come back to you, because we're going to have a problem if you want to go up. That's what we have, young people who are politicians, but they still have things that they even now when they are speaking, you can even see the way the person is speaking, that this one anyway. I'm just saying,
You won't
let's
say
take
too
care of
much.
ourselves. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week. Same place, same time. Good night.
Peace.